Two students arguing about which will be the most explosive reaction. One argues that it would be potassium with fluorine, whilst the other argues for rubidium with chlorine. Explain why it is difficult to be certain which of them is correct. 6 marks. Okay, so be careful with questions like this before you dive in. What you need to ask yourself is what science underpins this? And whatever the science is underpins it, you've got to write that down. Okay, so let's just remind ourselves of which groups of the periodic table these two are in. Okay, so potassium, rubidium, group 1 of the periodic table. As we go down this group, they get more reactive, and we can say why. The other group we've got is it was fluorine and chlorine, wasn't it? So this is group 7, the halogen group. So these are also very, very reactive. Group 1 elements, 1 electron on their outer shell. All they've got to do is lose 1 electron. That makes it quite easy for them to get full outer shells. Group 7, they've got 7 electrons on their outer shell. All they've got to do is gain 1 electron, so it's quite easy for them to get full outer shells as well. Okay, so the first and most important thing I think we need to say is reactivity is determined by how easy it is for an element to get a full outer shell of electrons. Okay, so as we go down group 1, they get more reactive. So rubidium is further down the group than potassium. So let's say why rubidium is more reactive. Rubidium is more reactive than potassium. I'm just going to use a symbol for potassium because I want to save a bit of space. I've not given you enough space to write an answer here. You'd get far more space than this in the exam. Rubidium is more reactive than potassium because it's further down the group. Because it's further down the group, it has an extra shell of electrons. So rubidium's outer electron, Rb is a symbol for rubidium. Rubidium's outer electron, E minus, I'm going to use the symbol E minus for an electron, outer electron is further from the positive nucleus so it's more easily lost, making rubidium more reactive. Now it's the opposite argument with fluorine and chlorine. Okay, fluorine is at the top of this group, chlorine is beneath it. As we go down this group, the reactivity decreases. Okay, why? So fluorine, symbol for fluorine, F, is more reactive than chlorine because it's easier for it to get a full outer shell. Why? Fluorine needs to gain 1 electron, as does chlorine. But the gap, if you like, the space it's going to go, is closer to the positive nucleus. So an electron, which is negative, is more strongly attracted in fluorine, making it more reactive. So back to the original question, why can't we be certain which is the most reactive? Well, potassium is less reactive than rubidium, but fluorine is more reactive than chlorine. Okay, so we probably need to say that just to finish off. So we can't be certain which is the most reactive combination, because potassium is more reactive than rubidium, and fluorine is more reactive than chlorine. All these questions on aylshamhighchemistry.com.